back home to be buried. The 13 Turkish police and military personnel had been discovered in a cave in northern Iraq on Sunday. Turkey says they had been abducted and then executed by fighters of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, during a combat operation. But Turkey's anger over the killings wasn't just directed at the outlawed group.
Now there is a statement made by the United States. It's a joke. Were you not supposed to stand against the terrorist, the PKK, the YPG and the PYD? You clearly support them and stand behind them.
The PKK is listed as a terrorist organization not only by Turkey, but the US and the EU. The US condemned the killings if responsibility lay with the PKK.
At least 60 people have been killed and several hundred more are missing after a large boat sank on Lake Maidombe in Western Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah, this news was right now confirmed by the Minister of Humanitarian Action. It's not the first time anyway on this lake of Maidombe. Everything happened according to the condition of the boats. This boat, they usually take a large number of people, like the minister himself is confirming that more than 700 people were packed on this boat, leaving the town of Kinshasa to the neighboring provinces called Equateur. Then they were traveling during the night time, and because of the condition of people in the boat and also the large number of people and merchandise, then they got this accident on the River Congo.
Clearing up the debris in the Kurdish capital. Around 9:30 p.m. local time, a spate of rockets rained down upon Erbil International Airport, with some falling short and into a residential area. Security forces say the target was US-led coalition troops who are stationed adjacent to the airport in the semi-autonomous region. A contractor for the coalition forces was killed and over half a dozen people were injured. Iraq's president tweeted his outrage, calling the attack a dangerous escalation and a criminal terrorist act. Iran-backed groups have claimed similar attacks on coalition forces in the past, but Monday's strike is the first of its kind since December. The troops have been operating in the area since 2014 in the fight against the so-called Islamic State group. Tensions in the region, however, started to escalate after the US killed Iranian General Soleimani last January.
Myanmar has deployed the 77th Light Infantry Division of the Army in Yangon. Reports of the deployment of one of Myanmar's most notorious army division has been tweeted by the Myanmar Bureau Chief of Reuters. Now, this army division in Myanmar is known for its brutality. The last time the 77th Battalion was deployed in Yangon, it was to suppress the anti-junta protests in 2007. Back then, the troops had reportedly opened fire on the protesters and rammed them with a truck. Formed on the 6th of June 1966, the 77th LID was largely responsible for the defeat of communist forces of Burma in mid-1970s. The light infantry divisions are considered to be a strategic asset of the Myanmar army.
Ebola is back. The country's land borders are sealed. An emergency team made up of the World Health Organization, Doctors Without Borders, and government health workers were dispatched to the region of Nzerekore after a nurse died of the virus in late January. Several people attending the infected nurse's funeral contracted the virus. Some have since died. With more than 200 close contacts, health authorities fear many more could be unknowingly carrying Ebola. The virus spreads easily through bodily fluids and triggers fever, vomiting, and diarrhea, eventually causing organ failure and death. In 2013, an outbreak detected in the same region spread to neighboring countries, infecting over 20,000 people. Half of them died from the virus.
Zuma's supporters and some MK veterans have been gathered outside his Nkandla home, vowing to lay their lives on the line to prevent his arrest.
Well, Tulas, it started off quite quietly this morning, and you're right about that commitment by the supporters of the former president. They did say that they will lay their lives down to ensure that no harm comes to him, and certainly to ensure that he's not arrested. But just a short while ago, there was some activity here at the entrance to the homestead. We saw a convoy of luxury vehicles. There was also representatives from the National Freedom Party that had come here. Although they didn't tell us what's on the agenda, they did say that they wanted to meet with the former president.
For the first time since 9/11, the skies over Israel are at a virtual standstill. And even in the face of harsh criticism, it looked to stay that way.
We're familiar with the failed methods of those who call to open. I say, not this time. We are adapting our exit plan to the British mutation that is overwhelming the whole world.
Israel's struggling national airline El Al has been operating limited flights, mainly from Frankfurt and New York, to bring some stranded citizens home. And that did not sit well with the U.S. Department of Transport, which accused Israel of violating its bilateral aviation agreements. Israel subsequently changed course, allowing U.S. carriers United Airlines and Delta to resume rescue passenger flights to Tel Aviv.
Here in Germany, authorities have banned travel from parts of neighboring Austria and the Czech Republic. The restrictions are aimed at stopping the spread of highly contagious variants of the coronavirus, which have been detected in several border regions. The European Union has criticized the travel shutdown, which is causing major disruption for workers who commute across the border.
Very little has got through this checkpoint at the Austrian-German border since early Sunday. Many drivers trying to cross from the Austrian state of Tyrol were told to turn around unless they work in a very limited number of jobs classified as essential. It's much the same situation at the German-Czech border.
For much of the southern United States, it was a once-in-a-generation winter storm. Heavy snowfall and icy roads conjured up disastrous driving conditions. Across at least 20 states, several of them declaring states of emergency. In Texas, record low temperatures way below freezing brought the electricity grid to its knees. At one point, more than 2 million customers there lost power, many caught up in intentional outages designed to ease the strain on the system. Even southern Texas, more accustomed to hurricanes, got a rare sight of snow. This was the scene in Bel Air, a suburb of Houston. And in San Antonio, home to the Alamo, a famous historical site, here's what it looked like there.